Hello, my name is Justin Bitner. I'm the resident artist at the Madison Public Library for the Bubbler. Um, this has been a great experience. The library system and the Bubbler is so giving, and they've helped create community. And I'm kind of going along with that theme with the projects I've planned while I'm working here. Last night we just had a big event called Keep Booking. It's a race event where I invited artists from all different nonprofits, the universities, and just a few artists to fill the cracks in that I know that can create incredible work. And I had an event called Keep Booking It, which I just said, and that was a race that was kind of modeled after the Pinewood Derby that the Boy Scouts do, but it was larger and there were no rules. So I had 14 artists who I originally asked. Only 10 were able to make it create cars based on books that they got at the library. So I wanted to show the library's referential side, and I think it's important that people use it to create new ideas. Another exciting thing about the Keep Booking event is some of the ideas were crowdsourced from kids and adults who visited the Bubbler. I had a workshop down there where we had parts for building cars. They were little car kits, so they'd just glue them together and then they could color them and design their car. We encouraged them to go down to the library and get books to theme them on. And while we were doing this, I had paperwork down there papers asking people questions like, if you were going to name a race, what would you name a race? If you were going to design flags for a race, what would they look like? So I went into this idea of having the children and the adults who came into the Bubbler crowdsourcing them for ideas for the race. So the flags that are on the track were designed by someone who visited the Bubbler. And just so you know, there will be workshops for building these cars at all the libraries starting in January and lasting through spring. So keep an eye out for those. You can look at the Bubbler site for the dates and the libraries they'll be happening in. Another thing this was based on is, as an artist, I create work that's based on sound. When I was younger, I used to produce techno records, and me and my buddy owned a record company called Day 4 Records. We released 2 records and went out and played electronic music at events and clubs and stuff. When I went into graduate school for art, all the sound went to the side for the objects I was making. When I got my first degree, I made all sculpture. When I got my second degree at University of Wisconsin, Madison, I kind of concentrated on sound making. So I did a lot of journaling where I wrote about sound moments when I was younger and used those to build objects. One example of that object would be I created what I call a drone machine from slot car tracks. I had a slot car track that had slot cars circling up 10 loops and then going to the left, circling down 10 loops. And that had microphones in it, and that was where ran into effects processors. So I created a musical instrument with a toy and a sound memory for my youth. The reason I'm bringing that up now is that's what this Pinewood Derby track was based off. I remember going and watching my brother do Pinewood Derby, and I remember the sound from it. And I always wanted to work that into an art piece since I started using these sound references to create memories for myself and interactive installations for people to wander within. So this was an opportunity, since I could never figure out how to make it into a continuous sound sculpture because I'd have to be there sending cars down the entire time. I saw this residency as an opportunity to use this track and get it out of my system because I've been wanting to get that out of my system for a while. So it was just an event where I invited artists to come in and build cars, and we raced. A lot of community partners donated prizes, people like Momoka and Driftless Studio and a bunch of the coffee shops locally. It was just nice to see people pull together, and instead of competing against each other for shows as artists or for jobs as artists, we were competing against each other in a fun way and building community, which I think is important. After getting out of grad school, I realized how important community was to continue making art as a profession.